Coming up on Beach TV News, President Trump faces backlash after a man is wrongfully deported to El Salvador. Now he's meeting with the country's president to clean up the administration's mistake. But will El Salvador's leader budge? Plus, international students are on edge as more visas are revoked, including 6 from Cal State Long Beach. See how students are coping. And is a stock market crash coming? What experts are saying and how it could impact your wallet. All that and more coming up next.
Beach TV News starts now.
Welcome to this edition of Beach TV News. I am Tanisha Bukad.
And I'm James Grech. Beach TV News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Long Beach. El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele met with President Trump at the White House today. The two discussed several topics, but the main issue revolved around a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador last month. The Supreme Court previously ordered the Trump administration to facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the U.S., However, the Trump administration says it's up to El Salvador to return Garcia. Well, today, El Salvador's president made it clear he has no intentions of releasing him.
How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
Meanwhile, Maryland's senator is on the ground in El Salvador trying to broker a release deal, although his efforts have been unsuccessful so far. The Trump administration has claimed Garcia is a member of the MS-13 gang. However, it's a claim that his lawyers deny.
Wrongful deportations like Abrego Garcia's have many feeling on edge. International students across the country are worried about their security as the Trump administration cracks down on student visas. 6 students at Cal State Long Beach have had their visas canceled as of last week. Our reporter Matthew Gregory spoke to others who are scared the same may happen to them.
College is supposed to be a place for students to learn. However, with student visas being revoked across the country, many international students are worried about their security and what their future might look like here in America.
I believe that as being a senior is it affects way more than sophomores and juniors because we are graduating, and for me I have plans on taking my master's. I'm graduating this fall, so I'm afraid my visa is gonna be revoked, and I feel it's been 4 years that I'm in the U.S. So if that happens, I wouldn't know what to do. Would I go home? What would I do?
Almost 150 international students statewide, including 6 here at Cal State Long Beach, have had their visas canceled, leaving many students worried about what that means for the state moving forward.
I just think that it's really unfair. I really wish that there were words that I could put to the emotion that I feel about it, reading the articles and stuff. I've seen numbers from UCs and stuff and other Cal States, and it's just really scary and a really scary time. And it's just really sad.
While some international students are worried, others know that they are here legally and have done nothing wrong, and they will not let these cancellations stop them from living their lives.
I don't really feel safe traveling. I feel like there is a chance they're gonna stop someone from coming back because that has been happening a lot. But I'd still try because I know I'm not doing anything wrong, so there's no reason I would be stopped.
Reporting from Long Beach, Matthew Gregory, Beach TV News.
With the Trump administration's highly criticized immigration policies ramping up, so are the protests. A crowd rallied against the deportation of a Columbia University student, and Btvn reporter Ivan Ruiz was on the scene.
With a sense of urgency and a passion fueled for justice, hundreds of Los Angelinos gathered together in order to send a message. That's right. As you can see behind me, organizers have banded together in order to protest the release of Mahmoud Khalil, the student who was abducted by DHS on March 8th. The story of Mahmoud Khalil is intertwined with the Free Palestine movement. Khalil, who is a permanent resident of the United States, was detained for his involvement in pro-Palestinian protests on Columbia University campus back in 2024. Here's what supporters had to say.
I've been out in the streets protesting for probably the past 16 months. What brings me out here is there's a genocide happening in 2024, 2025.
Despite not being charged with a crime, Khalil's presence is deemed a threat to U.S. foreign policy, as the Trump administration has accused him of supporting Hamas and allegedly making Jewish students feel unsafe.
What the Trump administration is doing right now is criminalizing anyone who speaks out against Israel, and they're trying to set a precedent that we are not allowed to practice our First Amendment rights, and this should be a concern for all Americans. The Trump administration is trying to take away our rights to free speech.
The highly criticized tactics of the current administration has prompted community leaders to organize and gather rallies such as this one.
This movement, it's really integral that it's an intergenerational one, that we make sure that we skill share. We are also inspired by the vigor and the audacity of the youth to challenge and to fight for their freedom.
Reporting from downtown Los Angeles, Ivan Ruiz, Beach TV News.
Thanks, Ivan. Along with that protest, the popular senator is making stops across the U.S. and calling on people to fight oligarchy. Plus, we have an update on a prominent California murder case. Our reporter Nathaniel Marshall is here with that and more. Nathaniel?
Thank you, Tanisha. United States Senator Bernie Sanders has been on the move, speaking out against President Trump and billionaires. Meanwhile, stocks take investors on a roller coaster ride. A new development on the high-profile Menendez brothers murder case.
Sanders and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are taking their message nationwide through the Fighting Oligarchy Tour, a series of rallies at taking on what they call the billionaire class. The tour has been drawing massive crowds, including a recent rally in Los Angeles that attracted more than 36,000 supporters. Sanders and Ocasio-Cortez criticized the growing influence of corporate money in politics, calling for major economic reforms. The stock market is reeling from the escalating trade war under President Trump's leadership, with growing uncertainty weighing heavily on investors. Since February, the S&P 500 has dropped by 12%, and as fears mount over long-term impacts of tariffs on global supply chains and American businesses. Economists warn that the tariffs targeting countries like China and Mexico are raising costs for U.S. manufacturers and consumers alike, potentially triggering an economic slowdown. Many companies have begun slashing their earnings forecast. After more than 35 years behind bars for the 1989 murder of their parents, Eric and Lyle Menendez are now seeking resentencing. One of their most vocal advocates, Anna Maria Baralt, has led a campaign pushing for leniency, pointing to abuse allegations and the brothers' clean prison records. The brothers were originally sentenced to life without parole, but new developments in California law have made it possible for long-serving inmates who were youths at the time of the crime to petition for a reduction. A hearing is expected in the coming months.
A judge will review their case in an upcoming hearing that could decide the future for the brothers. Stay with us for continuing coverage on these developing stories, and we're right here with Btvn. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Thanks, Nate. Well, here's a first. Iran and U.S. officials met to discuss their nuclear arsenals. Sanctions placed on Iran over their nuclear energy production was the key issue in the discussion. Iranian officials say these sanctions are crippling Iran's nuclear program and hindering the country's energy development. The 2-hour sit-down was mediated by Oman's foreign minister. Although the meeting was said to be constructive, nothing was resolved. A second meeting is scheduled for later this month.
Hundreds of families continue looking for loved ones after a roof collapsed in the Dominican Republic. And another family is mourning the loss of 5 members after a tragic helicopter crash in New York. Here's reporter Yasmin Poot with the World News Update.
Thank you, Tanisha. As the death toll rises, a roof collapse at a Dominican Republic club has those affected demanding answers. And a family trip ends in tragedy in New York. Plus, a Russian-American ballerina's time in prison is finally over.
Tragedy strikes popular nightclub Jet Set in the Dominican Republic with the roof caving in on concertgoers who were there for merengue singer Ruby Perez. The incident has left more than 200 dead and many families waiting to find their missing members amidst the rubble. Among those who've passed is former MLB pitcher Octavio Dotel, who died on the way to the hospital after surviving the initial collapse, as well as Ruby Perez, who died on the scene. The Dominican Republic's presidency has announced the creation of an investigation commission to look into the exact cause of the collapse. In New York, a helicopter plunged into the Hudson River, killing 6 people, 3 of those children. The helicopter took off with a family of 5 visiting from Spain and the pilot, a Navy veteran. The fun tour quickly went south when the helicopter began to fall apart. The father of 3, Agustin Escobar, was on a business trip when wife Merce Cambrubi and the children came to join him. The pilot, 36-year-old Sean Johnson, had recently just started doing tours. The brother of Merce Cambrubi flew in from Spain and set a memorial for his family. The city of New York is now investigating the cause of this devastating crash. An emotional reunion, Russian-American ballerina Ksenia Karelina has been released by Russia in a prisoner exchange. Karelina was arrested and was to serve 12 years in prison for treason after a $51 donation to a Ukrainian charity. Karelina served a little over a year in Russian prison until Thursday night when she was reunited with her fiancé, professional boxer Chris Van Heerden, who embraced her as she touched down in Maryland, along with the U.S. officials who greeted her with flowers. The initial swap was done in Abu Dhabi, where Karelina was exchanged for Russian-German citizen Artur Petrov, who was held in the U.S. after being accused of exporting microelectronics to Russia.
Ksenia Karelina also thanked the president for her release, saying, "I am so grateful for you today and our American government, and I've never felt more blessed to be American." Our thoughts and prayers are also with the families who are suffering from these immense losses. Back to you guys at the news desk.
It's time for a short break, but coming up next. Our reporter is live from Long Beach's annual Grand Prix as the event celebrates a historic milestone. Plus, Long Beach State volleyball star Moni Nikolov sits down with Beach TV News for a one-on-one interview. Those stories up next.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
You're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Remember the best planned 90 minutes of your life? Or that surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is vaping? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You didn't turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
And we're back. Measles cases are on the rise, and 100% cruelty-free cosmetic and commercial products could soon be coming your way. Btvn reporter Carla Valdez is here with more. Carla?
Thanks, Tanisha. Unfortunately, it might be time for yet another preventative vaccine due to the measles outbreak. And if you enjoy a weekly drink or two, you'll want to hear what a new study says about its impact on your brain.
If you traveled this spring break, you may want to watch for the symptoms of measles, including fever, cough, runny nose, red eyes, and a distinctive rash. Health officials have reported a rise in cases linked to spring break travel. The CDC is now urging the public to get the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to prevent further complications. The U.S. has reported over 700 confirmed measles cases, and 97% of them occurred in people who were unvaccinated or who had an unknown vaccination status. A significant step is being taken by the FDA to lessen the use of animals in medication research. Beginning with monoclonal antibody medications, the EPA will permit pharmaceutical companies to replace live animal testing with computer simulations and human cell models in a new pilot program. Officials say this might save lives, reduce expenses, and expedite approvals. Animal testing, according to critics, is still necessary for safety, but the action comes after new laws supporting more compassionate science. A new study reveals that heavy drinking may be linked to brain damage, affecting memory and thinking. Published in the journal Neurology, the research defines this as having 8 or more alcoholic beverages per week. Participants were divided into 4 groups: non-drinkers, light, moderate, and heavy. The findings showed that heavy drinkers had more than 100% higher likelihood of developing hyaline arteriosclerosis, a type of small vessel disease in the brain, compared to those who did not participate in excess drinking per week.
I think most of us can agree, moving towards cruelty-free methods to spare animals' lives and still deliver accurate results is a win for everyone. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Well, speaking of keeping yourself safe, if you've ever had a close call on a bike, then you know riding can be fun, but also very dangerous. Our reporter Liz Hanna talked to a couple of cyclists and a nonprofit working to make those roads safer.
Riding a bike to work, for fun, or just to go from A to B can easily take a wrong turn into the danger zone. With over 10,000 injuries and more than 100 deaths per year in California, bicyclists are at risk every time they take to the roads.
As I ride through town, I'm like constantly on alert for what's this crazy driver going to do. You know, I've had incidents where drivers just don't see you and you're driving down the road and all of a sudden they turn right into you, and so you got to stop super quickly.
With 13 volunteer-led chapters, Bike LA is a nonprofit geared to change that through its LA County Bicycle Master Plan for safer roads.
Our mission is to make LA a more livable place by making it more bikeable, more walkable, and easier for people to use transit.
LA has one of the highest rates of death for cyclists across the country, and despite a downward trend in overall bike fatalities, Kaufman had this to say about a recent upward trend in road violence.
We're seeing more and more aggressive driving, especially against people who are women, people who are black or brown. We're actually seeing an uptick in that type of targeted violence.
Bicyclist Jordan Placara and his furry passenger Benny are well known on the streets of Laguna Beach, and he shared what concerns him most when enjoying their favorite hobby.
I'm not riding in the dark anymore because when I'm at night, I see people riding in the dark with all the lights. It doesn't help. Somebody doing 50 miles an hour may not see you and not hit you intentionally. It can happen.
High speed limits, poor street lighting, and a lack of designated bike lanes are some of the top reasons bikers are less safe on the roads.
Reach out to your local government to find out what they're doing to make the streets safer for you and your fellow riders. This is Liz Hanna reporting from Laguna Beach for Btvn. Back to you at the desk.
The annual Grand Prix is taking place here in Long Beach, and our reporter Matthew Gregory is live from the event to see how attendees plan to make the most of the racing weekend, which has now entered its 50th year. Matthew?
Thank you. This is Matthew reporting live from Long Beach during the annual Grand Prix. As you can see behind me, people are already entering the festival, getting ready for a day full of racing and fun.
The Grand Prix is a racing event that happens annually near the water down in Long Beach. It attracts local residents as well as those traveling in just for the event.
I'm from Lake Forest, so travel is like 20 minutes away.
The event takes weeks to set up, causing closures around the area, but promising a thrilling time for families and individuals alike to join in with the racing fun.
I'm into motorsports, and we live right down the street, and it's been getting set up for the past few months, so we've been seeing that and just came down here to walk for the day and see if we can get in, So
The Grand Prix this weekend is expected to break records, with more than 190,000 people in attendance. This is greater than any other Grand Prix in modern history. People are coming to see racing, but some just to see other car memorabilia throughout the event.
I look forward to seeing the convention center. I think there's really cool things down there. You have like racing sims, you got like reward wheels there. I mean, there's so much to see. For a first timer, you can see everything in a day.
Whether you're a racing fan or not, the Grand Prix offers a thrilling experience for families to come down and enjoy here in Long Beach. The event will return next year, April 17th to the 19th, 2026.
This has been Matthew Gregory at the Grand Prix in Long Beach. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Matthew, for that live report from the track. Now, while the pros are out burning rubber, there's another kind of grind happening just a few feet away. Let's just say some students aren't just watching the action, they're building it. I went under the hood to check out the future of the Grand Prix. Long Beach is back in gear, and this year marks a milestone. The Grand Prix turns 50. For longtime fans, it's more than a race. It's a memory on repeat.
It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. Like I said, born and raised in Long Beach. I like my Long Beach experiences is one of the things I'd like to come out to.
Everyone's here for the pros, but look closer and you'll spot the future. Students with big dreams, big builds, and maybe one day, the big win.
We are fully student designed, student built, student raced. It's just a huge, great opportunity for engineering students to learn more hands-on than we get in classrooms.
The cars go through it all. Design, cost analysis, business pitch. Then it's time to hit the track. Speed, control, endurance, even fuel use gets tested.
Well, we have several testing days planned for the next month or so. We're going to take it out to the desert, put it through some pretty rigorous testing, transmission and such.
Even high school students are getting hands-on. This tool, it's a student-built creation tackling real engineering challenges.
It is often used on real-life objects that need a lot of detail, and it basically takes a bunch of small, tiny photos of an object, and it meshes all of those together to make a full 3D rendered object.
It's not just about watching the race. It's about building what comes next.
50 years of sound, speed, and stories, and Long Beach is just getting started. I'm Tanisha Bukad, Beach TV News.
Well, the students are clearly having a blast at the Grand Prix, but what about residents of Long Beach? Our reporter has more on the impacts of the event.
Long Beach is often bringing new people to the city. With big events like the Grand Prix, traffic suffers these changes with the road closures and also the economy. People are consuming more and more restaurants and coffee shops around here to prepare for the big day. Let's see what they think and how it affects the community.
Even though some events just last 3 days, like the Grand Prix, the city begins prepping months in advance. Some local residents can feel the effects days before the actual event starts and prefer to adapt their lifestyle during the time period of the event.
Actually, for me, I feel like it's kept me out of the restaurants. Like, I don't really want to go and wait, 30 to 40 minutes for a meal because I'm in the area all the time and I'm used to waiting maybe 15 to 20 minutes for a quick, Caesar salad. So I think it's kept me away from the restaurants.
For many small business, having big events on downtown is equal to have a big sale on the end of the month. The owner of Madre's Brunch was excited about the booming sales during the weekend.
Yeah, we have a lot of customers thanks to the event. Yeah, it's a beautiful city, and those kind of events it benefit a lot. It benefit a lot.
Some other residents seems to present a different mood and get contagious with the energy the car fans brings to the city, being enough to overcome the negative influence the racing can bring to their lives.
Usually, when I get off the freeway, it takes me like 10 minutes to get to my place. Now it takes me like 30 minutes. So yeah, it's bumper to bumper. That's the only downfall, but.
Cars that are not on the streets increasing traffic, and people who are not local having the chance to explore Long Beach. These are marks that tend to stay and incorporate to the community. Reporting from downtown Long Beach, I'm Rafa Ramaciote, Beach TV News.
Let's keep the momentum going and head over to Rafa Ramaciote for the rest of our sports headlines. Rafa?
Thank you, Tanisha. I wish I could have been more positive today. Unfortunately, some of our sports fans won't be that excited about the updates.
Tragic news out of college football. Former LSU receiver Kieran Lacy was found dead on Saturday in Houston, Texas. Police suspected the cause of the death was suicide. The 24-year-old player died in his car while being chased by police from what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Lacy was facing charges tied to a deadly hit-and-run last December. And now, let's shift to the NHL. For the first time in 83 years, all four American teams of the NHL's original six will miss the playoffs. Boston Bruins, New York Rangers, Chicago Blackhawks, and Detroit Red Wings are officially out of the playoffs this season, marking a dramatic shift in the league's competitive landscape. Moving forward to women's basketball, Paige Bueckers just signed a 3-year deal with Unrivaled, a new 3-on-3 league. Bueckers is reportedly expected to make more for the 10-week Unrivaled season than she would earn on an entire 4-year WNBA rookie contract, which, if she's the first overall pick, would pay her over $78,000 in her first year.
It's really tragic what happened to Kieran Lacy. Hope the family and friends are getting the support they need. I'll also be watching the NHL playoffs closely this year. I have a feeling that it can hold many surprises. And about Paige Bueckers, she did a great job at UConn. Now let's see what she'll bring to the Dallas Wing. Now switching to more positive news, Rory McIlroy has finally won the Masters. The fan favorite cemented himself as a legend on the links by winning in Augusta this weekend. McIlroy is the sixth golfer ever to complete the career Grand Slam, having won all 4 major championships. The Irish went pro in 2007 and had been seeking a green jacket ever since. His win concluded as an excited sudden death playoff finish against Justin Rose. McIlroy was overcome with emotion after sinking the winning putt. Congrats to Rory, a very well-deserved honor. Now, back to you guys at the news desk.
Well, speaking of sports legends, we have one in the making here at the beach. I had the opportunity to sit down with freshman phenom Moni Nikolov. The 6'8" setter from Sofia, Bulgaria is a major reason why Long Beach State is ranked number 1 in the nation. We discussed his recent games against number 4 Hawaii, his record-breaking serves, and his goals for the final stretch of the season. Thank you for sitting down for BTV News. You just got back from the 2-game series. You guys split the series there. What'd you think of Hawaii?
Hawaii is an amazing place. We did split the series. Unfortunately, we were very close to winning the second night. You know, it still depends on us to get the number 1 seed in the Big West. And now we kind of have that experience of what it feels like to play in front of 10,000 people.
You're leading the nation with 82 aces. These last 2 games against Hawaii were the only 2 this season where you didn't have a serving ace. Did you notice anything that they did that was purposefully done to kind of limit you as a server?
I didn't do anything differently than what any other team did. My serving just wasn't at the level it needed to be, and that came with just the bad preparation I had.
You were sick, right?
I was in the emergency room 2 days in a row before the game. I don't want to have any excuses. Just need to serve better.
Also, earlier this season, you set the record for the fastest serve in NCAA history. When did you first realize that you could kind of serve with that much power?
I think maybe last year, playing with all the pros, best players in the world. I kind of figured my serve is not that much slower than theirs. So I had a lot of confidence coming in here, knowing that not a lot of people can pass my serve.
So both of your parents played volleyball professionally. Your brother, Alex, he played here at Long Beach State in 2022, and he now plays professionally. What was it like kind of growing up in that environment, and how do you think it impacted your love for the sport?
I mean, it impacted me greatly. I mean, my whole life has been volleyball and just been living, breathing the game. You know, just having that volleyball in your blood definitely helps a lot.
Would you ever want to play professionally with your brother?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's the goal, right? It's playing pro with your brother and winning and making money together. It doesn't get better than that.
If you had to choose a favorite moment from this season so far, what would it be?
It would be walking out for the first time in front of a sold-out crowd here in the Pyramid versus UCLA. And seeing the student section genuinely feel the emotions of you making a point. And then I would rewatch the game and we would make a play, and I would rewatch every person that I know would rewatch their reaction. I would genuinely feel happiness.
What are your goals heading into this crucial stretch of the season?
And I only got one goal. It's to win the championship, man. Nothing else matters for us. Like at the end of my career, I want to look back and be like, okay, I'm a winner, you know? Like every team I go to, I win.
All right, so last question. Have you given any thought to your future in volleyball after this freshman season? Is the possibility of going professional like your brother?
Yeah, there's a possibility of doing everything at this moment. I mean, I've talked with so many people. I've talked with myself the most, like what I want to do, and just putting myself, okay, what if I'm not here? What if I'm here? You know, how am I going to feel?
Are you leaning towards one side or the other right now? No,
really
just focus.
Just like right now, and just want to win. Like,
gotcha.
So basic, but I just want to freaking win.
And that was just a sample of our conversation. You can check out the full 30-minute interview with Nikolov on our YouTube channel at Btvn News.
It's time for another quick break, but up next.
Why an all-star-studded mission to space is being received with mixed feelings. And we're diving into the Coachella craze, a luxury fashion shakeup, and Meta's antitrust drama. We'll have that and more up next, so don't go anywhere.
Women are bad with money.
That's what the world's been saying for centuries.
But now, we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses.
It's all worthless, unlike us. To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence. Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement. So again, we say to that, save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault, then the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him.
His real name is Darian, and we call him Day for short.
Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's affection, attention, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. Just do it from the right place. As long as it's coming from love, then, you know, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job. I'll say my kid's pretty dope.
We're back with the U.S. government alleging Mark Zuckerberg has participated in years of anti-competitive conduct. The U.S. government will continue with the antitrust case against Mark Zuckerberg. The case was first filed in 2021 during President Trump's previous administration. Zuckerberg allegedly built a monopoly to remove competition, closing the doors for smaller companies. If a decision is made, Meta will be forced to break itself by selling Instagram and WhatsApp. This could mean that other big tech companies could also be affected. Many are closely watching that President Trump's actions are going to look like regarding this case.
It turns out that now everything that shines and glitters belongs in space. Blue Origin just successfully completed its first ever all-female space flight, but what should have been a major milestone for women has turned out to be a huge flop. The flight hasn't been received well online. The crew included singer Katy Perry and CBS host Gayle King. They flew over 60 miles above the Earth past the Kármán line and floated in zero gravity for 4 minutes. Must be nice to be a billionaire and buy your way into space, one fan tweeted. What do you think? Is this a giant moment for women everywhere, or will the criticism last longer than the actual flight?
While the public sounds off on the Blue Origin space flight, the entertainment world is also buzzing. With surprise collabs and a screen hit grabbing attention, Btvn reporter Victoria Franco has the latest.
Thanks, James. Big names are making big moves.
on screen, in fashion, and even in the skies. Here's what's making headlines.
First up, Minecraft isn't just for gamers anymore. The Minecraft movie hit theaters this month and it's already stacking up major box office wins. With a star-studded cast and a pixel-packed adventure, it crushed expectations and became one of the highest-grossing video game movies of all time, bringing its US total to $280.9 million and global earnings to $550.5 million. Looks like blocky graphics equals blockbuster results. In the world of high fashion, Prada just made a bold power play by buying Versace. That's right, the iconic Italian brand scooped up its longtime rival in a multi-billion-dollar deal. The merger is shaking up the fashion world and creating a new mega house of luxury. Designers are watching closely to see just how this will redefine style at the top. And finally, talk about flying high. A Tennessee airport may soon be renamed after country legend Dolly Parton. Local leaders are pushing to honor the star not only for her music, but also for her major philanthropic work. If approved, Dolly Parton International Airport could be landing on maps soon, and we're here for it.
We've got pixel power, fashion takeovers, and even whispers of an airport named after a country queen. Gosh, it's been a busy week in entertainment. I'm Victoria Franco, now back to the news desk. It's the biggest party in the desert, and Coachella opening weekend was full of surprise appearances and unforgettable moments. Kicking off the weekend, Coachella goers faced a different kind of barricade as traffic came to a standstill, with some guests waiting over 12 hours under the desert sun. Relief came as night fell and Lady Gaga took the stage to deliver mayhem in a spellbinding set. The 2-hour show was rich in undertones and commentary with a battle between the Gaga eras. The stage continued to be the center of debate when Senator Bernie Sanders made a surprise appearance to condemn the Trump administration. And we end tonight with a heartwarming story that proves that the love of the game and the power of community is enough to chase greatness.
That's right. Far from the stadium lights of the pros, a Long Beach amateur soccer team is creating a homegrown legacy. Here's our reporter, Brian Chavez, with more.
In Long Beach, a local amateur soccer team is making waves by giving players a chance to chase their professional dreams while also keeping a tight-knit community.
Long Beach FC is now in its second season, and after finding success in its first year, the team is looking to build on that momentum. While the club's story started with two friends, it quickly grew into something bigger, a team shaped by the city it calls home.
My buddy and I, Sebastian, we went to grad school together, and we essentially started the team because we loved the beautiful game of soccer. And one of the things that happened was we were always in a group chat together, and one day he sent us like an article that had pretty much like a breakdown of how this guy built a team in New York, and that inspired us to build our own.
In a city known for its grit, diversity, and pride, Long Beach FC isn't just building a roster. It's building relationships.
But we went to grad school at Long Beach State and the sports management program there. And when we were thinking about like where we want to start the club, Long Beach just jumped into our minds because it's where we met. It's a place where we hold near and dear to our heart. And it's a place where we understand that the community really takes on the identity of a city, right? They're not Orange County. They're not Los Angeles. It's Long Beach.
And it's not just the founders who share that vision. For players like Aaron Minkoff, a Long Beach native and team captain, the club is personal.
I love playing for a Long Beach team. It's, I'm from Long Beach, grew up in Long Beach, so I think it's always been something I would love to come back to, and it happened a little earlier than I guess I expected.
Long Beach FC is still in its early stages, but with support and drive behind them, who knows how far they can go. Reporting from Long Beach, I'm Brian Chavez, Beach TV News.
Wow, I love everything about that story. Who knew a group chat could turn into a soccer team?
Right? Meanwhile, my group chat can't even agree on lunch. But hey, if they ever start recruiting bench warmers with good vibes, I'm signing up.
And with that, we end this edition of Beach TV News. I'm James Grech.
And I'm Tanisha Bukad. Remember, you can also be a part of the conversation. Head over to our social apps at Beach TV News and let us know what you think about tonight's stories.
From all of us at Btvn, good night, Long Beach.